We welcome his distinguished Chief Operating Officer and Co-Chief Investment Officer, Mr. Vasili Tsamis.
Your Eminence, distinguished guests, beloved clergy, larger family of the Leadership 100, I am delighted to be here with you today. Your Eminence, I will follow your lead in this wonderful review of the Bible that you gave us earlier today by drilling and explaining the etymology of the word philanthropy as a start. I will make a reference to Vasili as well. I will try to give as much of a human as well as economic review of what is our endeavor within the foundation. The dictionary defines philanthropy as love of humanity. As all you know, the etymology of the word philanthropy is Greek. Philos, friend, and anthropos, mankind, friend of mankind. Two fundamental elements that broadly expand, outflow, and capture the kindness and sense of caring, sharing, giving, nourishing, supporting, encouraging, and finally celebrating what it means to be the highest form of humanity. The kindness form of peaceful, fulfilling, and egalitarian coexistence. Being human and being kind. Two elementary yet essential identifiers and notions that guide us toward a life of perfect harmony on earth. Two notions that unconditionally follow and embrace God's intentions in populating this world. Mankind, since the beginning of times, by identifying and exercising the values of giving, sharing, assisting, volunteering, uniquely defined and differentiated itself as the supreme creature on this planet. Acts of philanthropy commonly overlap with deeds of charity, though not all charity is philanthropy, not all philanthropy is charity. You may say that this difference is a matter of semantics rather than substance, but still is a difference worth noting, as the line of demarcation between them is frequently blurry and invisible. Charity relieves the pain deriving from social problems, while philanthropy attempts to address those problems at the root causes, commonly referred as the difference between giving a hungry man fish and teaching him how to fish to feed himself. The dictionary explains that philanthropy was firstly coined as the word in the playwright of Aeschylus, in Prometheus Bound, 5 centuries before Christ, to describe Prometheus's character as humanity-loving, philanthropos tropos, for having given to the earliest proto-humans who had no culture, fire, symbolizing technological innovation, and blind hope, a form of optimism. Together, they will be used to improve the human condition to save mankind from distinction. Furthermore, the first use of the noun philanthropia came circa 390 years before Christ in the early Platonic dialogue Euthyphron, where Socrates says that he's pouring out of his thoughts freely, that is without charge, to his listeners, was his philanthropia. The Philosophical Dictionary of the Platonic Academy defined philanthropia as a state of well-educated habits stemming from love of humanity, a state of being benefiting humanity, a state of grace. Mindfulness together with good work, the very essence of civilization. The ancient Greek view of philanthropy as the essential nature and purpose of humanity, culture and civilization was intrinsically philosophical, containing both ethics and metaphysics. Philanthropia was also closely associated with freedom and democracy. Both Socrates and the laws of Athens were distributed with love and affection as philanthropic and democratic, two pillars that offer the surest way to live a pleasing and fulfilling life in building a commonwealth state. Our foundation defines philanthropy in the broader sense as a material expression of kindness to the less privileged a demonstration of sympathy to the less fortunate, a supporting hand to the crumbling, food to the hungry, a ray of hope to the hopeless, a warm home to the homeless, an unexpected chance to the desperate, an offer of advancement to the disadvantaged, an extension of care to the unwell, a material showing of affection to the underserved, support to education, enlistment to the arts, a promotion of culture, a backing of scientific endeavors. By our definition, charity and philanthropy are responsive and responsible. They emphasize what connects people, not what divides them. To us, philanthropy substantially connects people, sentimentally attaches individuals, morally commits to noble purposes, and emotionally engages and bundles societies. In a final analysis, philanthropy or charity work, to use the metaphor, have the appearance of a giraffe. You cannot exactly describe its colors, but you can immediately recognize it when you see it. But despite its size, you cannot always see it, as charity and compassion can be ubiquitous or elusive, evident or obscure, visible or hidden, known or secret. It is a spontaneous act of deliberate action, a warm feeling, an excellent sensation, a fabulous impression, and most of all, a sincere expression of love to the mankind. Almost 80 years ago, our founder, a young man with family roots in Sparta, embarked in a career that took him to the four corners of the world. His name was Stavros Niarchos. He started with a dream. Over the ensuing years, he built a shipping empire, a financial kingdom, an economic fortress. His imagination, intuition, hard work, perseverance, analytical capacity, and unique ability to see things that others couldn't, do things before others did, made him a phenomenal success story. He achieved a lot during his life, and today, almost 18 years after his death, he continues paying back to the world at large what the world gave him as an opportunity, which he managed to turn into success. He created his legacy, and now his legacy carries him. At the end of his life, he left us with a wish. Stavros Niarchos Foundation continues today as a wish and a legacy. Into the 21st century, with the establishment of the Stavros Niarchos Foundation, we carry his wishes. With his passing in 1996, he asked us to continue his philanthropic work via his foundation. I have the good fortune to be the Chief Operating Officer, together with another 55 partners, and carry on to fruition his wishes. Our 55 of us, all 55 of us, are located in 3 offices around the world that carry on the responsibilities of the foundation. The Stavros Niarchos Foundation derives its mission from the commitment of Stavros Niarchos to Greece and Hellenism, as well as his keen instinct and interest in support of causes in the fields of education, social welfare, health medicine, arts, culture, all over the world. The only limitation that he imposed on us, that at least 50% of the grants that we're making should be supporting his motherland, his beloved country of Greece. Since inception, the Stavros Niarchos Foundation has approved grant commitments of $1.5 billion through some 2,500 grants to some 110 countries around the world, in addition to his beloved country. In our foundation, we carefully select our grantee organizations among those who have a clearly expressed purpose, an identifiable course, a master navigational plan, a stated timeline, as well as capable and trustworthy management teams in place. This thorough selection process and deep commitment have always been in our hearts and minds. These key requirements have galvanized our souls, they have underpinned our existence, they have fueled our hopes, and they have directed our eyes towards a bigger, brighter, and better tomorrow. And tomorrow that can be shared with a healthy, prospering, proud state. This is our hope, and has been our dream. In 2011, our foundation, recognizing the importance of assisting in building a future of Greece, started the construction of its largest single gift to the people of Greece, nearing $800 million, by building the Stavros Niarchos Foundation Cultural Center in Athens. When ready, in mid-2016, it will house the Greek National Opera and the National Opera of Greece with state-of-the-art technology in a park of 42 acres. Construction works at the site are rapidly advancing, and the building are off ground, and the whole place resembles a paroxysm of activity in a country that otherwise is marred in most severe economic calamities since World War II. Our foundation firmly believes that the project is of national importance and a key to Greece's future, even more so under the current socio-economic conditions. It remains a testament and a commitment to the country's future and its youth in its critically historical juncture. It is also an engine of economic stimulus, which is as essential under the current circumstances. The foundation feels that owes this gift to the everlasting civilization of Greece and its people that are here called upon to continue in the centuries to come. By offering a broad spectrum of programs, supporting education, arts and culture, and covering the full range of interests from knowledge to entertainment, as well as opportunities for a work out of the body by playing around in the park to a chance of nursing the brain in the library, or satisfying the visitor's cultural curiosity and interest by attending an opera performance, the Stavros Niarchos Foundation Cultural Center aims to become a world-class destination to all people. The Boston Consulting Group, a reputable consulting firm with worldwide presence, undertook a study that assessed the economic, environmental, and social impact of the Stavros Niarchos Foundation Cultural Center. After an exhaustive review of the project, and after reviewing all the elements and the particulars, the Boston Consulting Group reported that both the construction and then the operation of the Stavros Niarchos Cultural Center are expected to have a very significant impact, deriving not only from the direct construction of the site, but also via the consumption, spending, job creation, attraction of complementary business, together with numerous environmental and social benefits to the local communities. The Boston Consulting Group concluded that the outcome from this construction project will be approximately $1.3 billion of total economic stimulus to the country, with residual benefits resulting in the short as well as the long term. The combined effects of the operations and the corresponding visitor spending associated with all these activities for the first 3 years alone will exceed $200 million. Athens, as well as the broader country of Greece, will be the beneficiaries of this for the next 3 years, following the opening and full operation of the Stavros Niarchos Foundation in mid-2016. Currently, 800 people work on the site, with 12 gigantic cranes dancing over their heads. It is expected that in short time, when the construction will continue and reaches its peak in the next few months, some 2,400 workers will be working on the site. Approximately $60 million will be produced in state fiscal revenues during this time. When the cultural center opens, spending by out-of-town visitors will spur economic activity and revitalize the place. Additionally, the Boston Consulting Group concludes direct permanent hiring by the resident organizations will generate some 260 additional jobs. Athens will gain a world-class, multifaceted cultural institution. Greece will gain a major pole of cultural attraction. The Stavros Niarchos Foundation Cultural Center is a unique private-public partnership combination of infrastructural development that forms a new paradigm to the Greek reality and unique prototype for the entire world. The rare for Greece transparency that we instituted and the construction process that we undertook the robust planning and essential governance that we established, as well as the unique constellation of world-renowned technical talent that we deployed, and the best practices we imposed, provided a truly remarkable case study that not only exceeds local standards of construction, but it provides the entire world with an example of efficiency, effectiveness, and quality in developing a world-class example coming from a country that was all but written off. This effort combines a new brand of modern philanthropy, of a privately sourced and fully funded, civic-minded cultural development with future government support in delivering public and private benefit and interest. This paradigm of philanthropy activity becomes an example for modern Greece. We pray that the world philanthropy, with its origin in the Greek language, grows roots to the country of its origin. But I'm asking you all the question, how can a cultural center alone, no matter how important it is, offer better education, meet cultural achievement, increase the country's economic output, eliminate the current economic crisis, repay the national debt of $325 billion, lower the general unemployment of 30%, and eradicate youth unemployment of 60%. How can a significant contribution by a private benefactor, no matter how big it is, and in this case is over $1 billion, can eliminate a country debt? How the 2,400 jobs that we are creating can dispel the line of 1,400,000 unemployed workers of today's Greece? The answer again is obvious, but a proverb from the distant China says that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a small step. Hope is the only friend. Hope sometimes is the only thing that is left, and hope is the only thing that dies. The foundation concerned with the continuing socio-economic crisis in Greece announced in 2012 yet another relief effort of $135 million, 100 million euros, over the next 3 years to help ease the adverse effects of the deepening crisis. We identified, discussed, designed, and decided on two-pronged approaches to the problem. A long-term based strategy of continuing our usual emphasis on Greece, and a short-term relief effort of providing $135 million. The emphasis of our short-term relief endeavor was on the most underserved, underprivileged, and unfortunate segments of the society that were in immediate and pressing need of assistance. It was a classical definition of charity, trying to address the symptoms of deepening socioeconomic pandemic in Greece. We designed this program with a time frame of 3 years in mind. Today, 2 years since the announcement, we have distributed an amount of over $100 million. Out of the original commitment of 135, as you understand, this effort goes much faster than we originally anticipated. Some 210 grantee organizations is the testament underlying the seriousness and intensity of the pressing common needs in every area and sector of the Greek society. The severity and negativity right now is quite excessive. Our Athens office is receiving an overwhelming influx of critical requests of assistance for local non-profit organizations all over Greece. These institutions, rapidly losing their staying power and their chances of survival, are quickly diminishing in importance and size as they are overwhelmed by the public needs. The state is no longer able to support them, thus directly hurting the most vulnerable populations. In October of 2013, our board of directors recognized the devastating reality of 60% unemployment rate facing the youth in Greece between the ages of 18 and 25, announced yet an additional $135 million philanthropic grants towards an effort to find short as well as long-term solutions addressing this particularly thorny issue. The complexity, intensity, and gravity of this problem are such that while the conundrum is particularly pronounced currently in Greece, it has global dimensions with no evident solution in sight. Small and large countries, the developed and developing world, no matter where they are geographically, we all have the same problem at a variable degree. Yes, the situation in Greece is extremely serious. Unemployment has been particularly harmful to young women and less skilled workers on both sexes, as the Hellenic Statistical Authority reports. Under no circumstances should we allow the young generation in Greece to become the lost generation, or worse yet, the last generation as it leaves this country. As the situation becomes desperate, the fragile youth gets destabilized, frightened, desperate, radicalized, and then the unthinkable may indeed become inevitable. We're approaching the magnitude of the problem with humanity and humility. We are humbled by its size and concerned by its pervasiveness. We hope to discover innovative ways in addressing this serious question. But do not expect philanthropy to solve all problems, not to perform miracles. The United States, as a country, where philanthropy and non-profit organizations like universities, hospitals, and museums as a whole constitute a true industry that contribute 5.5% of GDP, is an industry that today employs 14 million people. Charitable giving in this country in 2010 shows that charitable contributions, according to the IRS files, exceeded $316 billion for the year. This represents only 2% of the country's GDP on that year. By the way, the lion's share of $228 billion, or 72% of the total, was contributed by individuals like you. Some 85% of American taxpayers, always according to the IRS, donate money in 2012, while the foundation center in Washington reports 30% volunteer their time. If you contrast that to the 40% of Americans that vote, you can see that far more Americans volunteer than vote. The awesome financial amounts donated towards philanthropic causes pale by comparison to the country's $16.5 trillion debt, or $12.5 trillion GDP. Private philanthropy never did and never will replace the state. It can only supplement and complement a government that is well in place. On occasion, privately funded initiatives may even undertake very significant causes, like our Stavros Niarchos Foundation Cultural Center, but they will never carry them in perpetuity. Let me close by appealing to all of you to your kindness towards your own noble cause, to continue God's work that Archbishop Diakonos set out for you 30 years ago. I wish each one of you, in your own personal way, in your own obvious or intimate manner, with kind consideration and deep compassion, singly or jointly, preferably all together, as you all are here today, all as one and one as all, to make your mission a resounding success. A sentence that was made famous by John Lennon comes to mind as I'm standing here in front of you today. A dream you dream alone is only a dream. A dream you dream together is reality. The Leadership 100, ladies and gentlemen, has been a reality for the last 30 years, and I congratulate you for that. Dreams always start intensely personal, unique in character, far-fetched, illusionary, and fantastical. But you manage to turn these dreams into reality. You turn them into tangible evidence through your good deeds, through your own history of 30 years of giving. Let's all continue doing good, inspired by the words of Abraham Lincoln in his second inaugural address in 1865, speaking to a deeply divided and devastated from the war nation, with malice towards none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we're in. Thank you.